Great. Well, and it's the end. No, it's not actually. We're gonna do like one more rando episode of the Nightmare on Elm Street podcast. But welcome to the franchise. It's end of the.
Welcome to episode 125. We're both a little bit tired.
Is it
tonight.
125? That's like kind of. It's one of
It
those
is
fake
almost
milestones that they do in comic books.
I think so. It's 125. It's the first centennial quarterly episode of the franchise.
That's right. We're as
Very
old
excited.
as like a tortoise sometimes gets in years.
That's very true.
How about that?
I'll
get it together, gang. I'll get it together. Listen,
Yeah,
it's
all right.
it's what is today? October
28th.
28th. It's so close. Halloween fast approaching. What are you doing for it, Henry?
Working.
Yeah, me too. No, I'm actually off, but I don't know. I'll give out some candy. Maybe watch a couple horror movies.
Yeah.
And maybe record an episode about Jackie Earle Haley with you.
That might be happening.
Should we rank
that
every
day.
Jackie Earle Haley movie? Here's my ranking. Number 1, The Bad News Bears. Number 2, Little Children. Number 3, Watchmen. That's all his movies, right? We'll see where Nightmare on Elm Street fits in.
Whatever it is, Watchmen will probably be up there.
Oh, no, he's Doll Man, isn't he? Didn't he play Doll Man?
Jesus Christ, I don't know. I don't know. We'll
I
get
think
there when
that's
we
right.
get there.
All right. Hey, today we're covering sort of 2 outliers in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. And it's Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which brings us deep in the heart of the 90s. Mid-90s, as Jonah Hill likes to say. I went to see that the other day.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I thought you might, and
It spoke to me as a child of the mid-90s.
yeah, I mean, I was a teen and an adult in the 90s, so I don't know if I'd get it, but probably
I had
would.
the same sheets that the kid had.
They make mid-80s, I'll probably be able to relate to that more.
Sounds good to me, man. Well, maybe that's the prequel coming up.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. If mid-90s is a real big hit.
Something tells me that's not going to happen, but...
Yeah, probably not. But it was packed. I saw it at the Union Square Theater on Saturday. People were there.
The old Union Square
One
Theater.
dude fell asleep. He was having major snore attack, bro. And these 2 dudes who were sitting in front of him like took it upon themselves like, we're gonna wake this guy up.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and so they did not take the tactic I would have. What I would have done is just reach over in the guy's face and snap my fingers.
Right,
See if that worked.
Right.
They started like sort of nudging at his knee, you know.
Oh,
hey,
I wouldn't do that.
Hey, fella. It's a little too intimate. I didn't
Yeah,
like it. Yeah,
completely, yeah. Snap his fingers or the go-to is, are we going to have a fucking problem?
Hey, are we having a fucking problem here? No, I thought it was funny, though, so I just sort of let it happen. But it was like the whole theater had their heads turned looking at this fucking guy. It was dynamite. And it's funny because that movie, there's no plot. It's all just like little moments, and then it gets plotty in the third act. Or Jonah Hill, I guess, was like, I guess we got to wrap this thing up, huh?
Right.
And that was the part he fell asleep during. Like, you could literally fall asleep for like any 20 minutes of that movie, except for the 20 minutes he fell asleep for.
All right.
It was great. All right,
Okay.
so we're covering Wes Craven's New Nightmare. He put his name in the title. It's a real Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels situation. And then that brings us to our old friend Freddy. No, our old friend Jason Voorhees, who I really enjoyed revisiting. He really feels like a buddy to me, man. I root for Jason, and he's getting taken down by the man in this movie too. I just want Jason to like go live on a farm somewhere.
I know.
You know?
You feel like Jason could be happy. There's happiness for him.
If someone built Jason like a really big, classy version of that stupid little shack he had in Friday the 13th Part 2, like I think he can make it out of this alive.
Yeah, I agree
And
because I don't.
I
The
don't think he
amenities.
needs to kill.
Nah, I mean he doesn't have. He don't think he'd need that many amenities. You know, you could just give him maybe some plumbing, maybe not
He
even.
doesn't
You know,
need plumbing. Are
he
you
needs space.
crazy?
He just needs space. I'd like to give him some
That's what I'm
space.
saying.
Yeah,
That's what you just pop him, give him his own little island.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
there are
Yeah,
uninhabited islands in like Fiji.
there still are, man. There's
Pop
hundreds.
Jason on one of those. He'd
Absolutely.
run riot. It'd be dynamite.
He'd be great. Everyone else would be safe. Not a
Yeah.
bad idea.
It's
Yeah.
not like Freddy. This guy's coming at you wherever you put him.
Yeah, it does. He sure is, isn't he?
Yeah. Jason cuts a swath, but if there's no swath to cut, I think he'd just, lie low.
Well, you know what he could do as well. You could have him in maybe one of those islands that's not far from Vietnam, where there's heavy grass, and with his machete, he'd be like a clearer. He could just clear every day, just swaths of land.
Can't America weaponize Jason and send him into some of these countries, sort of like Nuke in the Daredevil comics?
Yeah, let him loose. Let him loose.
Just let him loose.
Everything you see, kill.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't kill him, so it's perfect. That's a good point.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
And then you could just, like, anytime you need to, like, get him back, like in the American in the American military custody.
Trank him.
No, not even. Just like send the military guy down there and have him pretend to be his mom.
You're not listening to me. It's time to go home.
Yeah. Okay. Freddy versus Jason. We're gonna do that later today. But let's start with Nightmare on New Street. New Nightmare.
New Nightmare. Yeah, let's do that.
Craven's back, and he's writing and directing this baby. They basically let him do it. He'd been pitching this idea since the third Nightmare on Elm Street movie. They finally let him make it. The working title was The Ascension.
Yeah.
A Nightmare on Elm Street 7, The Ascension. But it becomes Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And it was released October 14th, 1994. Halloween time.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think there was a Halloween movie this year, so it's not like they were taking their turf.
Right.
And budget of $8 million.
Real low.
Pretty low, which is good. Keep that budget down. I mean, who are they paying? Heather Langenkamp? And box office, $19.7 million. Not that great.
Nah,
this movie got a lot of buzz when it came out. I remember even being a kid hearing a ton about this fucking thing.
I remember it too. I was 16, but I remember it being like this big to-do.
Yeah.
And I never saw it.
But I guess it's just one of those movies everyone talked about and then no one went to see, like Snakes on a Plane.
Yeah. Yeah, and I definitely, we'll get into it, but I definitely was, I think you'll be happy with this. I was very appreciative of Scream after I saw this movie. I hear you.
Hey, Wes, you can sure direct the hell out of a meta horror movie. Maybe have someone else write it.
Yeah, and instead of picking your own character, make up new stuff and do it as a spoof of the whole thing, and that just this well,
Henry, when I was a teen. When I was a teenage dream, I used to really talk about this movie like this is the masterpiece of the Nightmare on Elm Street series.
Did you really?
This was my Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Oh, wow.
I thought this movie was a genius. And then you grow up and, your brain kicks in.
Yeah.
I still like bits about it, but boy, let's talk about it. It came in at number 79 at the box office that year. It made slightly less money than Milk Money.
Melanie Griffith.
Sure. Remember that movie?
Ed Harris, Melanie Griffith.
Yeah, but do you remember what it was about?
Ed Harris played a guy who had a door-to-door milk delivery system, and then one
No.
day Melanie Griffith falls in love with him.
No,
They have
Henry, it's better than that. This movie gave me one of my little baby boners when I was like, whatever it was, 8 years old. I got
it's
a
Melanie
nice,
Griffith,
tiny
yeah.
little rubber boner.
Okay.
And because it's about these kids, and it's one of their birthdays, and they save money to head up into the city and get a hooker.
Oh.
And Melanie Griffith is a hooker, and I don't think she fucks the kids, but I think she just like takes her top off. And I remember that because I was a kid at the time, thinking like, "Oh my god, this like older lady, this like grown up is like showing her tits to these kids."
There's frontal nudity in that.
No,
movie?
we don't see it. It's probably like her back, and you see the kid
yeah.
looking like, "Oh,"
Right.
and then the kid grows like a bond with Melanie Griffith, and he has her like. He introduces her to his dad, Ed Harris,
and they
who's
fall in
like
love.
Divorced or something.
Yeah.
Eventually, they fall in love, but then there's a complication because he finds out that like she almost fucked his little child. Great movie. Okay, so New Nightmare.
So glad we spent 88 seconds on that.
New Nightmare made slightly more money than My Girl 2, another franchise we could cover, Henry.
Oh.
Could we cover that? Like, maybe we don't have anything going on this week. Let's cover My Girl.
What was right in front of My Girl then on the box office thing?
Well, this is My Girl 2.
My Girl 2, yes.
Sure. And that's a weird movie because the male lead of My Girl 1 dies of bee stings.
I recall that.
Yes.
Yes. I believe I saw that first one in the theater.
I thought the second one in the theater.
Okay.
I think the first one, I might have seen both of them in theaters.
Is that Anna Klumsky?
You better believe it's Hannah Klumsky.
All right.
From Veep.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember when Veep came on for the first time. And
everyone was like, "Oh my god, it's My Girl."
Oh, that's all I knew. I don't know if there was anything else to know her from. There probably was.
Well, she was in that In the Loop before Veep. So that's
Veep,
when people
the Veep
were
predecessor. Basically.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah, it's better than Veep. And
I actually agree.
Yeah,
I think Veep's very funny.
Veep is totally good, but
yeah.
Enough.
In the Loop's concise and good. Right, completely, 100%. Yep.
Henry, do you have your 1994 list?
I do.
We just did it with speed, but we can knock it out real quick. I didn't redo it.
I only made the one change I've been meaning to make for a long time, so that'll be refreshing.
Oh shit! Is this Crumb?
Well, yes.
Fuck.
I didn't have to adjust that.
All right. Go ahead.
We both had documentary issues in 1994.
It's true. So what's number 10?
Mine's been corrected. Number 10 is Immortal Beloved.
Red Rock West. What's number 9?
Heavenly Creatures.
Speed.
All right. Number 8 is Speed.
8, Crooklyn.
Number 7 for me is Death and the Maiden.
Death as well as the Maiden.
Yeah, Death in the Maiden.
7 is Clerks.
Number 6 is Clerks.
6 is Spanking the Monkey. Oh, right.
These are the grand slams, the slap shots, the three-pointers, the touchdowns, the curling when the puck gets close to the circle. These are the heavy hitters of the franchise. Heavy hitters.
Hoop Dreams.
That is a heavy hitter. Putting it in there at number 5, huh?
Yep.
All right, my number 5 is Leon the Professional.
Number 4 is Crumb.
Another movie about a young person being in sexual situations. All right, number 4 is Crumb. My number 4 is Ed Wood.
My number 3 is Red Rock West.
Ooh, my number 3 is Heavenly Creatures.
Very similar stuff here. The number 2, The Shawshank Redemption.
Rita Hayworth in The Shawshank Redemption. My number 2, probably the 6th best Stephen King adaptation. My number 2 is Hoop Dreams.
I'm impressed you just said it was the 6th best.
Jeez, I mean, what else? Listen, generous. I did my top 5 Stephen King ranking recently on the podcast.
Yeah, there's so many. I
mean, what else am I going to pop above?
You hate Shawshank so much. I thought you would put Cujo, Needful Things.
I've never seen Needful Things. It might be better. It might be better. Dreamcatcher. There's so many.
Can't do it. TV Tommyknockers.
Sure. How about Rose Red?
Dolores Claiborne.
Sure. Let's just name Steven. How about Under the Dome, Henry? Let's do Under the Dome.
Maximum Overdrive.
Oh, that's number 6.
AC/DC did the soundtrack. Yeah. Of course it's...
Subscribe to us on Patreon, and you'll hear us. We're gonna do a bonus podcast where we cover every episode of Under the Dome.
I remember I watched.
It's gonna be called Inside the Dome.
Inside the Dome.
Yeah. You watched the pilot of that?
I did. Yeah.
I watched probably a season and maybe 3 episodes of the second season.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that?
Didn't do it for me. Yeah.
No, it was terrible. Okay, number 1. My number 2 is Hoop Dreams, and number 1 is Pulp Fiction. Okay. New Nightmare. So what we're doing here is we're starting with a dream sequence. Shocker. And it's Heather Langenkamp having a dream. And no, I'm not talking about Nancy. She died in the 3rd movie. I'm talking about Heather Langers. And here she is. She's the actress. She's playing herself in this movie. Still good.
She's my MVP.
Yeah, how come she hasn't had like a kind of a... Like, she should have had like a big career. Like, where is she on television?
I think she had the misfortune... I think it's... maybe agent problems because, I was going to say she's tied too strongly to the Nightmare series, but Jamie Lee Curtis was able to get out of that thing, that typecasting. So I don't know why this girl didn't. I don't know. She, as we've discussed, I believe on a previous episode, she's certainly better than almost every female in any Friday the 13th movie. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe a bad agent.
That's true. There's no better female in a Friday the 13th movie.
I mean,
who you got? Those twins in part 4?
I mean, there's probably some candidates, but I don't think so. None of them pop like Heather Langenkamp.
I think everybody in Friday the 13th pops, baby. We got a lot of
the guys are
Candid double dits.
That's very true.
Okay. Oh God. All right.
Hey, it's your show.
Well, in Freddy vs. Jason, I was reminded of that. It was like we get to see our first pair of fake boobs in a long time.
That was so funny, and I have to say, a great moment.
Because I think so too.
It was so very much consciously
true to that franchise.
Yeah, I mean, I openly laughed. I was just like, oh man, I was like, this is perfect,
dynamite stuff,
excellent. Yeah.
Okay, so Langenkamp, she's married now?
Yeah, to a guy named Chase.
Chase, sure. And he's a visual effects artist.
Mm-hmm.
Which is okay. And he's working apparently in secret on a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and he's designing a new glove for Freddy. So in Heather Langenkamp's dream, the glove is killing motherfuckers.
Right.
Yeah.
They are. They're killed. There's a lot of simultaneous to a lot of the nonstop exciting action and horror. There's earthquakes all the time.
Yeah, there really are a lot of earthquakes, but I think that's one of these things. I feel like we did this a lot in the 90s. Like the apocalypse was on everybody's brains because of Y2K coming up. And so
94 though, I mean,
I guess that's early, but I just feel like in a lot of movies we were doing omens of the apocalypse.
Well, as I read about on this too, I think a thing we did in the 90s too, which is, I don't know if it's something we still do today. I certainly don't think we do it as much. But, if there was anything contemporary happening in the world, anything at all, it would somehow work its way in, be in an event, a line that somebody famous said. So at this time, LA was having a shit ton of earthquakes.
Yeah.
And so I think they were just like, oh, hey.
Let's incorporate that. It's
Yeah.
timely.
Right.
Well, it's a well-known fact that between 1994 and 1997, every film that was made has a reference to the white Bronco chase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's poor earthquakes, you know. Nobody remembers them. OJ took over everything.
Yeah, it's true, man.
The fucking earth.
OJ really took the earthquakes.
Stole
the thunder right out of the earthquakes.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ,
man.
You know. I didn't do it.
What came first, Rodney King or the earthquakes? That's the real question.
That is a real question.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe earthquakes have been around for a few million years, but if you're doing strictly 90s.
Yeah, did the earthquakes
I think it was
steal
Rodney
King's thunder?
I might have.
How come there were no LA riots in New Nightmare?
Too touchy.
Is that too touchy?
Maybe.
I don't think there's a single black person in this movie.
It's a good point.
Can you come up with one? Just a red guy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't even remember any like extras or stagehands in this installment. I don't know. No tokens.
They should have gotten a black guy to play Wes Craven. I'd have believed it. His name is Wes.
Snipes.
Yeah. Yeah, Wes Craven plays himself in a tour de force performance. And,
hey, man. Him and Robert Shea.
Robert Shea's all over this
Look,
fucking
dude,
movie.
Those guys, I mean, there's some fucking dime store acting in this motherfucker that makes those two guys look like Brando.
Why? Who's bad in this movie?
Oh, Jesus, dude. I mean, well, look, all right, let's just get this out of the way. That I'm sure that I hope it's your LVP. I know it's mine. This fucking kid.
What, you're going to mention this great actor? This great young actor?
He ain't no Whit Hereford.
You're going to denigrate this child? He's not a child anymore. What's his name, this kid? This kid was in everything when I was a kid. Miko Hughes. He was in a bunch of episodes of Full House. He was in Kindergarten Cop. And the thing I remember him the most from, Henry, is, of course, he was the autistic kid who Bruce Willis had to protect in Mercury Rising.
I never saw anything you're talking about. I saw Kindergarten Cop.
You never saw Mercury Rising?
No.
I bet you'd love that movie.
No, I wouldn't. That's a fucking pot boiler directed by nobody cool, right? That doesn't even have like a Tony Scott type of guy.
Mercury Rising? That might be directed by someone cool. Harold Becker, Henry.
Oh,
Sea of Love's Howard Becker directed Mercury Rising.
Harold, as you said the first time, yeah.
Harold Becker. That's a show I watched every episode of. Becker. Okay. All right. We'll cover every episode of Becker on the Patreon. So this kid...
You guys, we have so much planned for this Patreon. You guys, your minds are going to be blown.
Miko Hughes, he was also the kid in Cops and Robertsons. He was also Tom Hanks' son in Apollo 13. I'm telling you, what a career this kid had. Right. All right?
He's fucking terrible.
He was a big star.
Oh, my God.
He's the kid in Pet Sematary. We might be covering that next Halloween.
Hey, I didn't. You know what? That was a pleasant surprise last week when I saw Halloween in the theater because I had not remembered or heard that they were redoing that, and I like what I saw. John
Isn't that a Stephen King movie?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yes, yeah, and not a terrible adaptation, not a great one.
I don't think I've ever seen Pet Sematary. Maybe the first one.
Well, that's I mean,
it's spelled wrong for some reason, right?
That's Stephen King's idea.
Pet Sematary,
because I believe it's a kid supposed to have been writing it or something. Dyslexic child, but it's the new one's got Jason Clarke and John Lithgow. I'm kind of in. We'll see what happens.
Jason Clarke and John Lithgow. How could you go wrong? Okay.
Hey,
is that all you got?
Yeah.
I was waiting for more, but you just said hey.
No, just a hey. Yeah.
All right, so Langenkamp and this dude Chase, they have an annoying son.
Very.
And this kid,
who's in every scene.
he really is all over this fucking movie.
And that's the problem. I mean, I think if I saw less of him, like the kid in 5.
Enough with it. You love Whit Hursford.
No, I don't. I'm just saying
This kid, though, in New Nightmare.
Too.
Here's the problem with this kid in New Nightmare. Because creepy kids in stuff, they have to be like normal, cute kids at first, and then over time get creepy. So you're like, what the fuck is going on with this kid? But I feel like from moment one in this movie, this kid is just like staring and 1, 2, Freddy's coming. And Heather Langhamp's like, did you watch one of Mommy's movies?
Right.
No, and it's in my dream. You know who has way too much screen time in this movie? This little kid's Tyrannosaurus Rex stuffed animal.
Yeah, I will say that the T-Rex was a better actor, though. It was more
Rex.
emotive. T-Rex was more emotive.
And that's another thing, that because it was just like Jurassic Park was big at the time, right?
Oh.
That's all it is.
Throwing a T-Rex in there.
Papa T-Rex in this movie. It's box office gold.
I love when the babysitter stitches up the T-Rex with red sewing material.
How about that babysitter? She got an introducing credit.
And rightly so, because then she went on to go to Stephen E. D'Souza's casting couch.
How dare you, Henry? She's still working today. Tracy Middendorf, we've talked about her. I think she was in a previous franchise movie, Henry.
That wouldn't surprise me. She actually wasn't all too bad at all.
She was one of the others in Lost.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And she was in the first episode of Angel.
Okay.
She's been around. She's been around that Middendorf. Every time I see her, I'm like, hey, it's that girl.
And there's another thing. And there's another thing in this movie too was the decision to use so many close-up shots. It was becoming. I don't know if you noticed that.
I didn't. What? It was claustrophobic.
No. Well, that would kind of be a compliment. Like, oh, it was intent. No, the actors' fucking faces, like every time, and especially that doctor.
That's what A Star Is Born is, Henry.
Oh, I believe
it's
you.
It's all fucking close-ups.
I'll never know, but I believe you. Yeah. And the
hey, Henry.
Yeah.
I just want to take another look at you.
But they've always said I'm ugly, but I have a great voice.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking.
I was born this way.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're beautiful as far as I can tell.
That's not bad from what I heard from the trailers.
Well, see, I went to a vocal coach, Henry, and he taught me to lower my voice by an octave.
So it's the same vocal coach who told him to raise it for Rocket Raccoon?
That's right. Now, Henry?
Yeah.
I just want to take another look at you.
Oh, God, that Oscar speech is going to be rough to sit through.
You mean Gaga's? All right.
No, that'll be a fucking pleasure. You know, I like Bradley Cooper, too. I mean,
I like him, too. It's just it's a weird time for Scoop. Now, he's also going to be in that new Eastwood movie. Have you seen that trailer?
Yeah, right.
Hey,
yes.
Hey, officer, I'm trucking around pecans. My daughter, she makes the worst pecan pie in the world. I don't know what I feel worse for, me for having to eat them or the pecans for being in the pie.
Clint, I know you're Clint, listen, Clint. I know that you're a big listener of this show, so I know this message will get to you. You're 88 years old, okay? And you look 108, and there goes the mic. Drop the mic. And you said back in 2006, I want to say, Dan, or 2007, Gran Torino would be your last foray
Did he
on
say
the
that?
screen. Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, he's back. He's the mule. Now, Henry,
right.
I've got to say, I noticed that in the 1459 or whatever, the 1512, what's that movie called? To Paris? You know what I'm talking about?
I'm sorry, there's a strong wind blowing around Daniel.
There's that movie. He put all those military guys.
Over there.
He had all the military guys play himself.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I didn't see any of them in the trailer for the Mule. Why isn't he continuing to give them roles? He trusted them so much as actors.
I thought your performances were good.
Oh, there's not more to that?
No, that was like the hey comment.
Oh, okay. So Langenkamp goes on a talk show. And who's hosting this talk show?
I didn't recognize the person.
I feel like it was someone I knew, but I can't remember who it is now.
I think it might have been somebody like famous at the time, but I don't know.
Probably like Dennis Miller or something.
No.
And then yeah.
I don't understand. You got more Freddy Kruegers in here than England has tea.
Meh. So, she's on this talk show, and all of a sudden, they bring out Robert fucking Englund playing himself, but Robert Englund comes out in Freddy Krueger makeup.
Yeah, and we get to see a lot of Robert Englund playing Robert Englund.
Which is fucking dynamite. First of all, can I just say that Robert Englund totally would come out on a talk show dressed as Freddy Krueger.
Oh, that sure. I don't think he was probably in on the joke that would be the case, but
no,
sure.
He would absolutely do that. And second of all, the best shot of Robert Englund in this whole movie is we get to see him at home, okay? And he's in his Los Angeles manse that he paid for with his fat boy's earnings.
That's right.
He's just in his house wearing these Hepcat purple sunglasses.
Oh yeah.
And
one of those like in the not needing sunglasses type of shades.
Yeah, and he's painting. That's right. Painting in the corner there. Pictures of Freddy Krueger.
Well, you know that I'm just going to go out on a limb here. No research for this was done. I'm imagining in real life he's an amateur painter and said to Wes Craven, "Hey, if you want, I can throw some of my work in here if you think it's
get some of my paintings in this."
And Wes was probably like, "That sounds good, Robert. That would be no problem. Why don't we put your paintings into the movie?"
They were garbage, man. They looked like George W. Bush paintings.
Paint my dog. Biscuit. Painting my dog Biscuit. I'm sorry, Barney. It was Barney.
Barney's the dog.
He gets in that burrow. He gets in there, burrows like sees an armadillo. Gets in there and burrows.
Henry, I saw the first trailer for that Bale Cheney movie.
Good, man.
Holy shit, he's unrecognizable.
That guy is insane. Christian Bale. It's insane. You are right. Well, that's said a lot sometimes. Oh, he's unrecognizable.
No, but I legit I've been reading about that movie for like a year, and then I finally saw the trailer, and it took me a few seconds. Like, oh shit, this is the Christian Bale thing.
Yeah, and how good is that Sam Rockwell casting?
Looks great. Okay, so Englund comes out. Langenkamp is surprised and kind of bummed because she's trying to go off and do her own thing. But Wes is working on a new nightmare, and it's this movie. It's New Nightmare. Every so often we get script pages, and the script pages are all script pages from scenes that were like earlier in the movie that we've seen already. It's very meta.
It's very Back to the Future-y. We're looking at a photograph, in this case a script, that is appearing as events unfold.
Yeah, it's like Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That was a kid's book.
Right. I've heard of it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It is very meta, but like I said, not pulled off at all. I really was surprised. I have to tell you, I went into this one thinking it would be some kind of like a re-energizing, like a rebooting, like cool idea.
It kind of does feel that way, Henry. Like, despite what, like, it doesn't really work, but it feels at least inspired.
I mean, the idea, sure.
No. I'm even the execution. Like, I feel like Wes Craven is really going for something here.
I agree, but I think we're going to be doing our rankings this week, and this is going to be very low for me.
Okay. Yeah,
Very
I know.
low.
Your top movie is The Dream Child. So
We'll see.
We will see.
I
So
haven't seen the remake yet.
True. I don't. Whatever.
And we haven't gotten to Freddy versus Jason yet.
That's true. So, people start dying, and shit starts. People wake up from dreams. Their sheets are clawed up. The walls are clawed up.
Yeah.
And then Chase goes away to film a movie, and Langenkamp wants him to come back. And on his way back, he is in his car, and he's singing "Losing My Religion" to himself because it's 1994.
Yeah, they got the rights to that, huh?
It was the height of Rapid Eye Movement. Oh, Rapid Eye Movement. Is that why they used REM? It's like a sleep thing.
Whoa, look at you. Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe.
How about
Holy
that? Wes
shit.
always thinking.
So were you.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So
Wow.
Losing My Religion is being sung, and Freddy's claw pops up from between his legs in the car and just does a little tappy tap on the tip of his penis. A little tipple-dee-tip.
Tippo the dick. Yeah, the strange scene. Made a little
scratches. He does a little scratcheroo.
Right, he scratches, scratcheroo. I thought that scene took me off guard because when she calls him in a panic about the kid, first of all, I was impressed with the husband actually listening and saying, "All right, I'll address this rather than ignore my wife," which is what usually happens in these types of movies. But the line that I really liked was I wasn't aware of the location of where he apparently was from her. So when he says, "Okay, all right, I'll be there. I'll be home in about 3 hours," I was
No, he says
like,
where he's
what?
going. He's like going to film in Palm Springs or something.
I don't know.
He said he was doing the bubbles for a commercial or something.
Yeah. But I didn't remember that. So when he says I'll be there in 3 hours, I was like, oh, all right. That's not probably going to help too much, but
Yeah, man.
go ahead.
You get through automatic for the people like 4 times. No, Losing My Religion's not on automatic for the people. It's on out of time, baby.
Do you think that the reason that they licensed that song was because Wes Craven promised Michael Stipe that all donations would go for the environment?
It's possible, but I think also this was just like the biggest REM ever was. Like this was the time in REM's career, really the only couple of years where they were really going for it, like trying to be one of the biggest bands in the world. That automatic for the people time, and then I think the year New Nightmare came out was the year they put out Monster, which was their big like hard rock glam album with What's the Frequency Kenneth on it and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Losing My Religion was probably the most played video on MTV I ever saw. That fucking thing.
I feel
was
like
on
Everybody
MTV
Hurts was
all
played more than
the
that.
time.
Remember
Well,
that video? He gets out of the car, he's
big-
wandering around.
Yep, yeah, absolutely.
What's your favorite
But-
REM video, Henry?
favorite REM video?
Yeah.
That Everybody Hurts one's nice.
Yeah. It's a
I
good
can't
one.
think of any others. I've seen a million
The
of them, though.
Imitation of Life one is good.
I don't know, man.
That's the one that's like by a pool. And it takes place over the course of like 10 seconds, but we keep moving around, seeing what people by this pool are up to during that 10 seconds.
Oh, I don't remember that
Crazy.
one. What's the Frequency, Kenneth? That's a good song.
It sure is. Backwards guitar solo.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, the guitar solo in that song, Peter Buck, he like played it forwards, and then it's just, he like designed it so it sounds good, like reversed.
Wow.
Yeah. REM.
Rapid Eye.
Sure. Henry.
Yeah, so he gets killed.
He's
Chase.
fucking dead. So they go to the funeral. Everybody's there. John Saxon shows up.
That was nice. Yeah.
Did
that
you
was
catch
nice.
Tuesday Night in the crowd?
I knew she was in this movie, but I did not catch her. No.
There she was. Robert Englund's, of course, at the funeral,
Yep, wearing his shades.
wearing his shades. I fucking love Robert Englund in this movie.
Yeah. So what we spent a lot of time also just in the house, and I felt like a lot of dreams. It felt like the same scene kept happening over and over and over again. Like the TV turns on, then it turns off, then it turns on and turns off. She walks in, the kid's there, and then
well, the whole movie is just like it turns out Freddy is real, and they were making the Nightmare on Elm Street movies all those years to like keep Freddy at bay, because if people think he's like a fake movie character, they won't believe in him, and so you won't be able to go in your dreams. And so now that Freddy's dead, the final nightmare, part 6, people have like forgotten Freddy, so he's I don't even know. It's this big convoluted fucking thing, and Wes Craven seems really aware of it. Like Heather Langenkamp just goes over this motherfucker's house, and he's like, yeah, well, Freddy's this ancient being, and we gotta make another movie to keep him at bay.
It really was confusing, I have to say, because I didn't like what you just said. I didn't even catch. I thought it was something that in the movie. It was something Wes Craven had created and brought to life. I didn't know that.
It's like existed since the beginning of time, and somehow making those movies reawakened the spirit.
So is Wes Craven like a demonologist?
I think no. I think Wes Craven tapped it. The first movie, Henry, was so fucking scary that it tapped into the purest evil in the world and manifested itself as this guy. So the sort of like ultimate ancient evil took the form now of Robert Englund in real life, and he started to come back and murder people.
Okay.
All right?
Got it.
Whatever.
Got that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad to see that storm has subsided in your domicile.
These are jokes. You can't make visual jokes on a podcast.
I just did.
I dropped my mic like 3 times.
It's a little insight into the show.
Sure.
But I'm getting back to something I said about a half an hour ago.
Please do.
About the close-ups. So this poor woman who plays the doctor for the kid, this African American lady, they keep showing her in this like nurse ratchety role, and they're just
she's bad,
zooming and zooming. And it's just like and then what do they put this kid in some kind of fucking John Travolta Bubble Boy screen at some point? He's like laying in a plastic.
Oh yeah, it's true. Tube. It really is like that. He looks like Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, that's right. He's like in a hyperbaric chamber.
Yeah.
I don't even know why.
But it's because like Freddy's whole thing is he has claws.
Right.
He can rip right through that thing.
Well, they don't believe that it's happening, so they
right. Well, that's the whole thing with these movies is like they convince themselves it's not happening until like enough of their friends die.
Right. Explain away the first 4, and then it's like something's up.
Right. Yeah. So, the kid is like a little demon kid. He's kind of like getting possessed with the spirit of Freddy.
Can you do his voice for me when he's as Freddy?
I don't remember how it sounds.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. Speed it up, kid.
I like when she answers the phone and the voice at the other end of the phone just says "bitch."
That word again, just as dynamite. It's just go to.
Yeah. I like
everywhere.
I like when they're on the playground and the kid climbs that big piece of playground equipment.
That was kind of a neat scene.
And it's like a missile, and he holds his arms to the sky like I will rule this planet. Yeah, but really, it's just a little kid standing on fucking playground equipment.
Right. That was neat because it also showed the severe parental neglect of parents who just let their kids roam around in playgrounds. And so this kid manages to get to the steeple of this structure.
First of all, it's playground equipment. If it's that dangerous, like it shouldn't be that dangerous because it should be regulated for children to play on.
Exactly. Yeah. So he manages to like climb through these gaps and maintains his balance for an inordinate amount of time, and the music swells like The Omen. Yeah. And then he fucking falls, and she does a fucking John Stallworth and she catches him.
I love when kids fall down.
I was disappointed that she made the catch. I thought maybe a fumble would have been in order, but
that happens in mid '90s, Henry.
Oh yeah,
the little kid, he tries to do a little skateboard trick like over a gap, and he fucking falls, and he just lands and like breaks his head open. It's baller.
Could have used a little of that here.
Yeah. So at the end of the movie, they go visit Freddy in his boiler room, but this is like not the Freddy Krueger of the movies. This is the true demon Freddy Krueger. So it's not really a boiler room. It's sort of a hell castle.
It's his hell cavern. Yeah. And when you fly out of it, it's Freddy's face.
Yeah. You fall down this big waterfall, and the water is coming out of Freddy's mouth.
Right. And once again, Freddy showing his complete ineptitude at physical altercations, even in his own den, because when they're in his lair of hellaciousness, he's still getting knocked around, booted around,
and he's like, there's at one point they like hide in this little alcove, and it's like, dude, you motherfucking designed this place. Can't you just like dream that door open? And then he like makes his arm stretch to reach them, but like we see him for like 5 minutes before that just like reaching at them. Like, doesn't he like know his tricks? Like, hey, he's doing that for like 5 minutes, and he's like, oh yeah, I got that arm thing.
Right,
bitch.
It's true, bitch. And yeah, he's out of his element sometimes. He's in his element sometimes in these movies, and I would think in this particular sequence he should be completely at home, knowing every nook and cranny. But he does not.
I know. And he's got to be like Thomas. It's all nooks and crannies. He's got to know where they are. Thomas's English muffins. Hey, so he's but he does. He knows where they are. He just doesn't. He can't get into them. He's such a fucking idiot.
He is a fucking idiot because he doesn't have Michael Myers and Jason. They get stuck places and they get like can't open doors. Like
but Freddy's not like that. Like Jason, Jason is like this giant oaf, man. So it's like when he like runs into a thing and like gets his hatchet stuck in a thing or whatever. Like, you get it. He's an idiot. He's a fucking mongoloid, that guy. But like, this is Freddy Krueger. Like, he was like a serial killer. He's not an idiot. He's supposed to be like the smarter. Like because he's this little skinny guy. Like, you have to make him clever.
Right. No, clever is not his thing. And I think that also he's almost like one of these guys who this comes more about in Freddy versus Jason, which we'll get to soon. But it comes about more that it seems like Freddy is more in love with the idea just simply of you being afraid of him than when you actually do confront him. He doesn't seem to be too worried about scaring you. Because like once he's like in front of
sometimes he does. He scratches. His one move is he scratches his fucking knives against the wall.
Yeah, I know.
They hate that.
That should be his line. That should be his line, not bitch. Anytime he does that, he should look at the camera and go,
"They hate that.
They hate that." No, that would change the tenor of everything. Yeah,
it's true.
So they in hell he opens up his mouth real wide, tries to eat the kid.
Oh yeah, I like that moment.
Yeah. $8 million. Yeah.
Yeah, he opens that mouth real wide. He looks like a cartoon character. Like, like when Garfield has like a giant fucking 20-layer lasagna he wants to nosh on. Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you think of the Freddy design?
Oh, it was all right. I mean, the makeup, I don't know. I could take or leave the face. I kind of liked the weird hand designs.
Yeah, like it's part of his body.
Yeah.
Like a glove, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, who could care?
You know what I didn't like? I did not like he has a new hat. It didn't look ratty. It looked like
Oh,
brand new
yeah.
hat. And he's wearing a blue trench coat in this movie.
Yeah,
Pop
that
that
was
thing off. He doesn't need a trench coat. He's already got a sweater. It's hot in hell.
right. And he's a burn victim, and they usually like to have ice
It's a good point.
all the time.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I don't know, not many great kills. I guess it's an echo back right in the when he kills your friend Tracy in the hospital when she's trying to watch over
Tracy Middendorf.
yeah, when she's looking over the stupid kid. He grabs her and she's flying all around the room, right? That's a callback to the very first
I
death,
liked that, and it made me realize, why didn't we do more shit like that throughout the franchise?
right? Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
I don't know. Henry's lighting up right now. So
I'm good to move on. I mean, but if
I
please,
kind of am too, bro.
yeah,
What do you give it?
I give it 1 star.
Oh, I'm at a 2. It's not a 1.
You're at a 2. Oh, well, that's significantly lower
I
than I
don't think
thought.
there's a 1 on any of these movies. This is definitely a movie that if you asked me when I was a teenager what I give it, it would be a 4. And
Sure.
then I think like months ago when I got Letterboxd, I like downloaded that app and I was like rating every movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I gave New Nightmare a 3.
Did you?
And so that's what I was expecting to give it on this rewatch. And it doesn't hold up.
No, it's
And it is very close to 2 hours.
yeah.
It's
it
like an
pushed
hour 54 or something.
Took me
That's
2
no
viewings.
good.
Took me 2 viewings. Yeah, yeah. I just didn't. I think it was one of those ones where like, I think I might have even liked the second one better, and I really didn't like that one.
Oh, the second? Well, I definitely like the second one better.
Yeah, this one was just a big old failure to me. I don't know. Yeah.
I think it has moments. It is hurt by that kid. It is very much helped by Heather Langenkamp's strong lead performance.
Agreed on both counts, and I think it's very much hurt by Scream.
Oh,
Because-
well, Scream is definitely like the better attempt at what this movie's trying to
Well,
do.
it's a great attempt.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
But I just mean it's not. It is not in hindsight helped whatsoever by seeing like it's almost like a rough draft,
Totally.
and then you see what can be done, and you're like, oh shit, you know.
Yeah. You know what else is weird about this movie? Anytime Langenkamp's having problems, she's always like calling John Saxon to talk. Like, what fucking actress is like, hey John, I really need your help. Like
Right.
you
Fictional
played my dad in a movie 10 years ago. Like
Yeah, and there's no continuity to that.
what is there no
That would've been where I-
continuity in? You broke up.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's no continuity in that through line with him being the dad, because they're in the house 1 second and he calls her Heather, and then when he's leaving he calls her Nancy.
Well, no, Henry, I think that is like the world of Freddy bleeding into our real world.
I know, but there's no like they don't even do like any kind of movement or change of shot. It's like within the same walking movement.
Oh,
and
that didn't bother me. I thought that was
just strange.
a reasonably spooky moment.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right, 2. MVP Langenkamp, LVP, I guess the kid, right? Are we both doing that?
No doubt in my mind.
Okay. How about that scene where he tried to cross that highway like fucking Frogger and Langenkamp had to save him? And Freddy was like, it was sort of like that scene in Dream Warriors where he's like in the stars, like walking that dude.
That's right.
But it was
but
garbage.
Worse. Yeah, exactly. But garbage.
Yeah.
It's fucking Cubert.
Yeah, it was terrible. Okay. You have a superhero count for us?
I do. Only 2.
Okay. Are you going to play the theme? All right, there it is. Langenkamp.
The man who played Chase Porter.
Sure, who is that? Who is that?
That's
Langenkamp's husband.
Correct. That's played by an actor named David Newsom. And he played the key character of Gary on Spider-Man, the animated series.
Gary.
Interesting. No last name given.
All right, yeah. David Newsom.
Yeah.
Let's see. They're not really working much when you go to their IMDb page and one of their known fors is New Nightmare. All right, go ahead.
And coincidentally, the morgue attendant who shows Heather Langenkamp the body of Chase Porter. Remember that? And he's like, that's why we don't pull it all the way down, when she sees his face and then sees the chest being ripped.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
That morgue attendant.
Yo, I recognized the morgue attendant, Henry.
Okay.
When I was watching this fucking movie.
Would, yes.
It's W. Earl Brown from Deadwood, but also, more importantly for our purposes here, who played Courtney Cox's cameraman in the first Scream movie.
That's not what I was going to say.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Good call, though. No, but as a superhero, you don't know? You don't
W.
know?
Earl Brown?
This is disappointing.
Is it? What is he, in Preacher or something?
Yep.
So is Jackie Earle Haley, actually. What?
Yeah,
who does he play on Preacher?
Hugo Root.
He does. Yeah, that's first season. It was 2 years ago. Give me a break. But yeah, he was an important character in the first season.
All right.
Yeah.
That's it. There you go.
Okay. Let's move on. We finally gotten here. This is an episode 2 years in the making, Henry.
How so?
Well, 2 years ago, we covered the Friday the 13th franchise, and we both had the time of our lives.
For sure.
And we skipped Freddy versus Jason because we didn't want to watch it till we did Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right.
And we're finally here. We can talk about Freddy v. Jason, Dawn of Justice.
We made it. We did. We made it. It's here.
So it's 2003 now. There hasn't been a Nightmare movie in 9 years. There hasn't been a Friday movie in 10. No, that's not true. Jason X happened.
Okay. It sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So big gap here.
Big gap. So Freddy vs. Jason comes to us from director Ronnie Yu. Familiar with this fella?
Oh, I looked him up. I mean, before I watched the movie, and wasn't really any point to that.
Well, he was a Hong Kong guy. He directed a ton of Hong Kong movies, and then he got his chance to make American movies. First with Warriors of Virtue, which was a kids movie, and then in 1998 he made, of course, Bride of Chucky,
which I haven't seen,
and I love that movie. It's a great Chucky movie.
Well, in a way that you love Child's Play way, or just in like a fucking garbagey fun?
No. It's one of the best Child's Play movies.
Okay.
And then you did Formula 51, which I've never seen. That's a Sam Jackson movie.
All right.
And then Freddy vs. Jason. And then he got his ass back to Hong Kong. He made Fearless with Jet Li. That was kind of a big Hong Kong movie.
That's the only movie on here I had heard of besides Bride of Chucky.
You never heard of Formula 51?
Nope.
That was one of those movies. Remember, Sam Jackson was always being in movies where it's like him and a white guy on the cover. I'm serious. Another one was The Man. Remember that movie?
Why is it also called The 51st State?
I don't know. Do you see that? What do you want? Wikipedia like a bitch? Bitch!
Yeah, that's the British title.
Oh, okay, great. Good pull. So Ronnie Yu is our new director, and we have some new writers hanging around town, and they are Damian Shannon and Mark Swift.
So who's Damian Shannon?
Now, Damian Shannon hasn't worked much. Freddy vs. Jason was his first published screenplay, or filmed screenplay.
Oh, they work together, I see.
Yeah, they're a team. And but they later wrote the Friday the 13th remake of which we're so fond.
Fuck yeah.
And then the Baywatch movie, which kind of tanked. And lately, I think they've got credits on that Genie movie.
Okay.
That's the Aladdin remake.
Oh, all right. All right.
Yeah. Who's playing the genie in that?
Fuck if I know.
Is it Will Smith?
Sounds perfect. I mean,
I think I read that at some point.
You know.
Maybe I'm wrong. All right. So
we also have a new composer who we have covered before.
Is that true? Who's the new composer?
I mean, I haven't really been talking about that because these movies have been so abysmal with the scores, but this guy is pretty well known. His name's Graham Revell.
Oh yeah, he's been around forever. He's still working a ton.
Sure, a New Zealand gent. He did but he's done some good scores.
But like, what's he done in the last year? I feel like I've seen that name really recently.
Okay. Wow, he has a lot of credits. Holy shit. Well, movies, he hasn't done anything since Riddick. TV, he's done Gotham. That's his...
Oh, well, I don't care about that. What the fuck would I have seen?
Well, you saw a lot of his movies. I mean, he did the remake of The Fog. He did...
What did he do for the podcast?
Planet Terror. Oh, for the podcast? He did Lara Croft Tomb Raider.
Did he?
Mm-hmm. He's not very good. He did... Because
a lot of electronics in that score.
Yeah, and I also recall very much the reason I remember him was one movie in particular, and it's not just because the movie is bad, but he was one of the big contributors besides the writing, directing, acting, script, cinematography, and idea, was the 2003 Daredevil with Ben Affleck.
Well, that's a lot of chunk.
The music is awful. I mean, I'm not even talking about the pop music they use because there's a lot of that.
Yeah, but that's what Freddy vs. Jason is too, man. Like, what did
not that much of it.
What did he have to do for Freddy vs. Jason? It's all just the nightmare theme, the and then a lot of fucking new metal.
I didn't give him any credit whatsoever. I didn't say it was good.
I
just said.
But I'm saying, like, why are we even spotlighting this fool?
Because I hated his music for Daredevil. And he's very well known. That's all. He's a very prolific guy.
Okay.
Very, very prolific of nothing really any good. So
I'll say if you want to check out the Freddy vs. Jason soundtrack, you'll be hearing some Spine Shank. You'll be hearing some Typo Negative. You'll be loving it. In the closing credits, you might even hear some Il Nino and Kill Switch Engage.
Ugh. Yeah. It was mercifully, for some reason in this movie, though, I didn't notice too much of that. At the beginning,
you're a nut. I had my finger on the pulse of that throughout.
Yeah, well, yeah, I would normally be very, very annoyed by that type of soundtrack, but I didn't pay much attention to it. It didn't bother me. I don't know.
Yeah. It sucked. So,
well, sure, yeah.
This movie comes out August 15th, 2003. Henry, I was there opening night.
Were you?
I was in the Green Acres Theater in Valley Stream, New York, to Henry, a packed house.
I bet.
It was full, and I went in a friend group. And it was one of these groups of friends where it was like, I don't even know why we were all hanging out together.
Freddy versus Jason, that's why.
It brought us together, yeah.
Yeah, right.
So it had a budget of $30 million. Now, Henry, you got to keep that budget down.
Well, that's going to be harder, right, with bringing these two together. I'm sure.
Well, not necessarily. I just think there's a lot of weird CG in this movie you don't need.
Right. Yeah.
And then the box office, $114.9 million. It's a bit of a hit. And came in at number 35 for the year. Made slightly less than Brother Bear, and which I also saw, and slightly more than School of Rock.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Henry, you want to? I redid my 2003 list. You want to get onto that?
Sure. I haven't done it since my other revision. I think I'm happy with it. But
I'll tell you what. 2003 was a shitty year for movies.
I completely agree. I mean, I like everything on my list, but it's not a year where anything on here I have any kind of deep personal connection to, with the exception of one movie, which you'll guess.
All right. What's your number 10?
All right. One honorable mention this time.
Oh, fine.
X2.
Okay. Yeah, X-Men 2.
Now, number 10, American Splendor.
My number 10 is A Mighty Wind.
Boy, I did not like that movie at all.
I love it, but I
Really?
mean, I like it. I shouldn't say I love it. It's just this year's bad.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. All right, number 9, your favorite filmmaker, 21 Grams.
Sure, my number 9 is Big Fish.
It's a great movie. Not on my list. Number 8 for me is Old Boy.
My number 8 is X-Men 2. That's right, I put a superhero movie on a list, gang, so stop calling me pretentious.
Do you not usually put any superhero movies on
I
your
very
list?
seldom have superhero movies on lists.
Interesting. Yeah. Number 7 for me, the great Philip Seymour Hoffman and the great John Hurt together in Owning Mahoney.
Okay.
Great movie.
My number 7 is 21 Grams.
Ooh.
That's right, I used to like Inuyuritu.
Higher than me.
Yeah.
Number 6, The Last Samurai.
Right. My number 6 is The School of Rock.
That really should be on there. That's going to be an HM, so we'll do that.
These are the grand slams, the slap shots. Oh, slap shots. Very apropos. We got Jason back in his hockey mask.
That's right.
These are the heavy hitters of the franchise. Heavy hitter.
And curling, very apropos, because Freddy vs. Jason was very clearly shot in Vancouver.
That would explain the huge superhero count I have.
What percentage of them were in Smallville?
A lot.
Yep, there you go.
Number 5, another great turn by Kurt Russell in, speaking of Rodney King, Dark Blue.
Yeah, sure. Ron Shelton.
Yeah.
I watched a Ron Shelton movie like a week or two ago.
Which one?
The Great White Hype.
Ooh. Is that the Woody Harrelson? No.
No, that's Play It to the Bone.
Right.
No, this is Sam Jackson and Peter Berg acting.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
All right, my number 5 is Willard.
Good movie. You showed that movie to me.
That's
Good
right.
movie. Number 4 is City of God.
Great movie. My number 4 is The Shape of Things.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
My number 3 is The Station Agent.
Very good movie. Mm-hmm. My number 3, is that what we're up to? 3?
Yeah,
My number 3 is American Splendor.
All right. My number 2 is Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World.
Oh, that's a Henry movie.
Oh, yeah.
All right, my number 2 is All the Real Girls by Halloween's David Gordon Green.
Love it. And number 1 movie of 2003 for me is the great Errol Morris documentary, The Fog of War.
Yeah. And my number 1 is Elephant by Gus Van Sant.
I like that movie. Yeah, 2003 is a little bit reminding me off the top of my head of like 2014, where there was just nothing that I was close to. There was
Nothing I was gaga over.
Right. Some very
Just want to
solid.
take another look at you.
Yeah, very solid movies, but nothing to write home about. Yeah, not a banner year.
Okay.
Plus, I remember that year very unfondly movie-wise because that was the Oscar season of when Lord of the Rings won Best Picture.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was the
Return of the King.
2004 Oscars,
You're right. You're right. That was that year, and
Very
it was just inevitable. As like
It was
as like
inevitable.
a movie guy, you just had to wait. Like, well, it's gonna be Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
this
I
year.
remember watching
Yeah.
it. Like, God, this is just the way it was going to go, and I'm so disappointed anyway. Yeah.
So Freddy versus Jason begins, obviously with a sweet song. Well, no, and we see Freddy. He's scrapbooking.
It's true.
Yeah, Freddy's scrapbooking.
Tells his origin story.
Yeah, and he's putting little photos of his life into the scrapbook and using that gross tongue of his to lick them in. We got the tongue through the phone gag again in New Nightmare.
We did.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a little bit of a previously on Nightmare on Elm Street, and I gotta tell you, I appreciated it at the time when I saw Freddy vs. Jason in theaters.
You were rusty, right?
I was not quite a connoisseur. I hadn't seen all the movies.
Right.
So yeah, I was like, sure, this is the origin story. Thank you, movie.
Right.
And then we cut to
Thank you.
Oh,
right?
you.
Am I right?
Sure, Ronnie, you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. I'll tell you what movie I watched yesterday, Henry. Sour Grapes.
I've never seen Sour Grapes.
Ah, you're good. Okay.
That's what I thought.
So
That's why I never watched it. Yeah.
So we cut to a camp. What is this? What's going on here? I thought this was a Freddy movie. What's going on?
All I know is I was getting excited.
I bet you were. All right, so it's a dock and
forward thinking. I see what you thought I meant.
And it's a girl, and she's about to go skinny dipping. She pops the top off.
It's pretty fucking great.
And she's got these ginormous fake boobs.
Ridiculous.
They are ridiculous. And so Jason comes out, and he starts chasing this woman. And slowly as he does.
Right.
And she's running
away. Resurrects him first, right? I mean, Freddy poses as Pamela Voorhees to get him.
I thought that was after he kills them.
Well, no, because he's buried in the ground. She gets him out of the ground, and then he.
Is that right?
Or are you saying it's like a flashback to that?
No, maybe it is that. So Jason's mom resurrects, brings him back, and is like, Jason, you should go to Elm Street.
but it's Freddy, yes.
Yeah, it's Freddy imitating Jason's mom, and he does a good Jason's mom impression.
He's a pretty good impressionist.
He's quite an impressionist, Freddy Krueger, and
something he's good at. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. All right. So Freddy imitates Jason's mom. Jason starts chasing this lady. The best is she puts a shirt back on, but she only buttons it down to her torso, so her big fake boobs are still popping out of the collar.
Right. No underwear. Yeah.
Is she
Doesn't
not
have time?
No underwear?
I don't think so. I mean, she's
maybe
naked.
Not. Yeah, the shirt might be hanging down, but
she does the old tripperoo.
She does a tripperoo. She gets murdered.
Yeah, nice murder.
Great murder. Jason, back in top game, he just swings that machete one time, and people go splatter.
No practice necessary, man. He's been buried for a long time. He got his skills right back.
Yeah. So let's go over to Elm Street, where we meet the three ladies of the movie. They're our leads. And you got your Monica Keena, who
I liked her.
Listen, in 2003, no one was a bigger fan. Probably still, no one's a bigger fan of Monica Keena than this guy right here.
Right now, what was she? What was she in? A lot of stuff. Right?
Now she played Abby Morgan, the bad girl in Dawson's Creek.
Oh, okay.
All right, and she went out drinking with Michelle Williams and fell off the dock and died. And then at her funeral, everybody gave speeches about what a great person she is, and Michelle Williams got drunk and talked about, you're all full of shit. You all hated this bitch.
Are you serious?
Yeah. You're not even listening to me. I see you looking at your phone.
No, I'm listening to you. And
okay.
Wait, this is in real life or on Dawson's Creek?
No, that was on Dawson's Creek, you piece of shit.
That's what I thought. And then the way you kept using the actresses' names, I was like, did this act... What?
I'm just saying it so you could follow the story, but you're not even listening, so you can't follow the story.
I am listening. You confused me. I was in Dream World for a second.
Oh,
I was
God.
thinking you were in an alternate reality.
So that was her role on Dawson's Creek. And then she was on Judd Apatow's Undeclared, the follow-up to Freaks and Geeks. And... whatever. She's great on that. And, she should have had a bigger career. I never see her in shit anymore. And I think Monica Keena is fantastic.
She was in Entourage.
Don't tell me that.
So it's good to know that she's alive, because I did definitely believe Dan was telling me a true story. So I'm glad to know that was just Dawson's Creek plotline. Yeah, I like her. I think she's good.
Wouldn't you have heard about that? Michelle Williams talking shit at some actress's funeral?
I feel like I would have, but I'm not always in touch with the zeitgeist of the early aughts like you. So
Sure. So Monica Kena's in this movie, and she's your final girl, and she's pretty good.
she is good.
She's got a weird dad who's a scientist that's like experimenting on dreams because that's what people do in these movies.
Right.
And she's got a ex-lover who's hidden away in a sanitarium, and he's played by a very young Jason Ritter.
Yeah, that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, her best friends, one of them is this girl. What's that actress's name? It's Catherine Isabel.
That's right. Right.
She's been in a lot of shit. She's Ginger from Ginger Snaps. That's what I know her from.
Well, yeah.
She was also, Michael Pitt's weird sister in Hannibal.
Oh.
And then fake Michael Pitt's weird sister in the next season of Hannibal.
Oh my God! Wow. Good call. I didn't. Okay, and I watched that whole show. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
All right.
Margot Verger.
Yeah. She's Margot.
Yeah. She's
Jesus.
a good actress. Not
Wow.
doing her best work in Freddy vs. Jason. You know what's weird about that character? They dress her up like she's going to be like the tomboy type.
Yeah.
But then she's the slut.
Right. Very
It's
strange.
very weird.
Yeah.
We get her like in one of her first scenes. She like takes a dude upstairs, and she's just like, it's so weird. They're having one of these parties that you have in horror movies where it's just like 5 teens hanging out. It's like one of those Halloween parties.
Yeah, and they're not doing anything. They're not even watching anything.
No,
and
they're
then,
just hanging out.
and then like the worst friends in the world, like yelling at this poor girl Monica Keena because because her fucking boyfriend. I mean, she doesn't know that. I guess that everyone thinks he just left her.
Right,
one
but
day
he's
for
in
no
a
reason.
sanitarium. But
But
so
they're pretty unforgiving.
But I'm
of
just
her.
saying, we cut upstairs for like a moment,
Right,
and
yes, great.
Catherine Isabel is just like fucking riding this.
She's riding
dude.
this man.
Yeah,
riding this
and
man.
and
Pray.
just screaming, "Yeah, fuck me, baby!"
Yeah.
Or he's screaming that.
I thought
Is
she
it
was-
her?
I
It might
think
be
it's-
her.
I think it's
So
her.
they're fucking hard, bro.
Yeah.
And then of course, she takes a shower.
Yeah.
She's got to wash off after the sex.
Because Trey says, I don't like to be touched after.
Oh, that's right. He doesn't like
after
to be
he
touched.
had said, I don't like when you smoke afterwards. After he had said, let's go upstairs. Don't make me ask you twice.
He's really negging her. He's a
The
great negger.
Great boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she goes to take a shower. We get a glimpse at her boobs, but I read that they sprung it on Isabel on the set that she was going to have to be naked, and it was her contract. She didn't have to be, so it was body double.
Well, good for her. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, great
Fucking-
Hollywood stories.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What a Hollywood move.
Mm-hmm. So we get to see a body double's boobs, and she showers, and then when she comes out to the bedroom, there's one of the best deaths in the movie.
So good.
Jason just snaps this motherfucker in half with the bed.
In one fell swoop, Jason is back, my friends, and he is killing like nobody's business and better than Freddy. He's just a better killer.
He's so much a better killer.
He hacks him first, and then if that wasn't enough, Jason knows that this bed, I didn't know that this bed did this, can bend backwards, and he bends
Let's
the guy.
be honest here, gang. Freddy versus Jason, if we're really talking about a fight between the two, Freddy probably wins. He has dream powers,
But
okay?
he's not that good
But
at
if
using
we're talking about Freddy versus Jason, who's the better character? It's fucking Jason. It's
Yeah.
Jason by a mile.
Of course it is. He's a better fighter, too.
Well,
Because
listen,
the thing
he's
is,
a better
Jason
fighter,
knows
too.
Yeah, he's a better fighter. I take him in two. I give him 3 rounds. 3 rounds with Jason. Because he knows his weapons. He knows his capabilities. He doesn't ever try
Freddy
to
will come
overstep
right
them.
at you, but then Jason, he bobs and weaves.
Jason
He
floats
hacks
like a
and
butterfly.
slashes.
Things like a bee. Freddy don't even understand his own dreams. You know, can't
Yeah.
control those powers. By the time he gets that, he's got a long left hook, Freddy. But it takes him 5 minutes to get to you, so Jason can move.
Yeah, but you know what they say in Starship Troopers?
I don't remember.
A roughneck has to reach for his weapon, but a bug is the weapon already, or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's some sagest shit right there.
Yeah, I think maybe Michael Ironside said that or some shit.
Probably thought of it and wrote it.
Okay, so now...
Why isn't he any of these movies? Holy
Michael
shit.
Ironside? I like
he really belongs in something.
So, the other girl, we should get to it, is Kelly Rowland.
Say her name.
Kelly Rowland. She's, of course, the second best Destiny's Child. But, of course, there's a big gap between number 1 and number 2.
And she's in this in 2003, and it's weird, right? Because what is this for her? Is this her attempt at trying to break into film? Because she doesn't need this. She's trying to
jumpstart that acting career, and I think she saw the writing on the wall, man. You're in a girl group with Beyonce. Your manager is Beyonce's dad. Two people have already been kicked out of this group. You're not long for this world.
That's a good
Let's get into some Freddy versus Jason.
There was no conversation with the agent there. She's like, listen, you're Kelly. There's a new movie coming out. I signed you up. Yep.
She's wearing a weird wig in this movie with red streaks, and she is one of the worst actors I've ever seen in a movie.
She's real bad.
She's worse than the kid in New Nightmare. She is. Because the thing about Kelly Rowland is, like, you could see her, like, trying to remember her dialogue. Like, some of these takes in this movie, it's like, that's the best take? Like, how many takes were there? There are scenes in this movie where she, like, mispronounces words. Where she just, like, has trouble getting out a sentence.
Ooh, you're right. I forgot about that, but I remember that being the case with a couple of words. Yeah. Oh boy, yeah.
It's really
especially
weird.
Like when she's trying to tell off. Who is it? Freeberg, Lindenberg.
I don't remember the characters' names.
I'm looking at my thing right here. The nerd kid who likes Monica.
Oh, that kid, the kid who's what is he on now? He's on something right now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
PCP?
Fuck no. What is he in?
I don't know.
Linderman.
Linderman.
Kid. Oh, he was the dude. Did you watch Barry, Henry?
No, I want to.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He had an important role on Barry.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything for you. But anyway, they whatever it is. So Freddy starts infiltrating dreams, of course.
He needs Jason to bring these kids.
That's what he's doing. Like, people have forgotten Freddy, so he doesn't have his dream powers anymore. So he brings Jason to Elm Street to kill people because they figure, like, you know, people will assume that it's Freddy committing these murders because that's his turf.
Right.
And so people will start to remember Freddy and he'll get his powers back. So we get a couple of fun scenes where, like, Freddy reaches out to kill somebody, his hand goes through them, and then there's, like, a close-up of him and he's like, not yet, or something.
I have a very key question.
And he goes, there's one scene where, like, let's let Jason have some more fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Jason fucking kills that dude. Remember that there's this kid who's, like, asleep on the front porch or something?
Oh, yes.
And Jason,
Blake.
Yeah, and he wakes up and his dad is sitting next to him and his dad's head just falls off his body. And then Jason just kills the shit out of this kid.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
this movie is fun, absolutely fun garbage.
It is total garbage, but it's definitely a more watchable movie.
Yes.
I will say one of the problems is it should be more just silly fun. Like, we spend way too much time it's too plotty for its own good. And it's like I feel like we're talking way more about Freddy's child molestation than we normally do.
Yeah.
And I don't need to be bringing that up all the time.
No,
There's some really gross shit in this movie. There's one scene where, like, Freddy is, like, he gets on top of a girl and he's being all, like, sexy. You know how Freddy's, like, lascivious sometimes? And he, like, jumps on this girl. He goes, "Welcome to my world, bitch."
Monica.
He says, "The first time tends to get a little messy."
Yeah.
Oh,
my
dude.
God.
And then he even has like a racial joke later on.
Yeah, I like dark meat.
Yeah, he goes, "How sweet, dark meat," which is
But then
fucking
she
gross.
comes back-
Yeah, but exactly. And then Henry, she responds to that with, "What kind of faggot runs around in a Christmas sweater?" Which, A, pretty good. It is a Christmas sweater. But B, don't use that word, Kelly Rowland.
I know, man. Holy shit. That took me aback.
You don't. It's 2003. We can't still be using that word.
My next sentence.
This is a mainstream movie.
Yeah, I know. Very, very ugly. Very ugly. Oh, I want to ask you two key questions. One, this stoner character.
Oh my god.
Are we channeling somebody here?
Well, of course we are, Henry. It's so ridiculous. I don't understand why they didn't just get Jason Mewes.
My thoughts exactly. That would have actually been hilarious.
It would be fun to see Jason Mewes in a fucking Freddy movie.
Exactly. It would have been great.
So,
I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's just this fucking guy. It's Kyle Labine, I think his name is. He's his brother is a better known actor, Tyler Labine.
Okay.
He's been in a lot of shit. You'd know him if you saw him, probably. All right. But Kyle Labine, and he's just like wearing like a green skull cap and like what I assume is a long blonde wig under that cap.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's just his body movements and like everything is so Jason.
Yeah, and he's just like a stoner and like, yeah, bro. Like, he's Jason. That's all he is.
Yeah, it was an insane thing. And my other question occurred to me when so we're in Elm Street, so we're in Springwood, Ohio. But
yes.
Jason, I believe we established, and I could be wrong, but I believe at the time we established Camp Crystal Lake was in New Jersey.
Well, I have a theory.
So how did he get to? Did he take a train?
No, Henry, I have a theory.
Or did he walk?
I have a theory, Henry. I think Freddy took Jason into the boiler room and was able to pop him out in Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, magically put him there. Because I was thinking of the the various practical skills of our favorite killers. And we know from many incarnations that Michael Myers, say what you want about him, he knows how to drive a car. He's pretty good.
Who taught him to drive?
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
He's a good driver. He's an excellent driver. So he
really
can get
good
there.
driver.
He can get anywhere. I'm not thinking. Thought wouldn't even occur to me. It'd be like if Michael Myers has to go to Elm Street. It's like, well, he's going to just get in a car.
Michael knows what he's doing. He stops at rest stops. He can get gas. He knows what's up.
Very proficient with hammers.
He has lifestyle skills.
He really does. Well,
he's hungry. He'll kill a dog.
He'll eat rats, a dog. I mean, it's very true because in the institution he probably took some artsy classes and arts and crafts. So he knows some things. Jason's been living in the wilderness, so he really can't. He doesn't drive. He doesn't know how to ride a bike. So it would have to be that Freddy just teleported him into the
it must be
Elm Street area.
He doesn't know what's going, man. He's a woods dweller.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't know how to brush his teeth.
He sure doesn't. He doesn't have to brush his hair.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So let's talk about it. I also noticed at one point in this movie, this is the point in the movie everyone thinks people are just dying for no reason, and Monica Keene is trying to convince them it's Freddy.
Right.
And Henry, she describes Freddy Krueger. Okay, she describes him.
Yeah, what's the first thing she says?
She happens to say he had this dark brown hat and his skin was badly burned. What is happening?
I don't know, man. It's over and over and over again. Defining characteristic.
But why? It's like his least defining characteristic. By like New Nightmare, he was barely even wearing the hat.
I was just going to say, he's not even always wearing that thing. Yeah, I know. I don't know. They go right for the hat.
I have never once described somebody by what hat they're wearing.
Except when you saw me with my Irish flat cap.
Only because, like, it's you. But, like, it's not like if someone asked me, like,
what does
Henry look like? He wears a flat Irish cap. Yeah.
We're looking for this man, Henry. He's lost. What did it describe him? Mets hat.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Okay, so what else do I have here? I've got some notes. Well, the rave happens. There's a big rave out in a cornfield.
Our second rave we've covered in.
Wow, what rave did we cover?
In the Halloween remake, sequel, whatever.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that rave.
Yeah.
No, there's a big rave in the cornfield. There's got to be at least like 14 extras, and and they're just.
And Jason, actually, to my point earlier about where he would thrive, he's a cornfield's a good place.
Cornfield, sure, man. He can hide amongst the corn. And
when he needs to shuck it, he can just shuck it with the machete. He gets right through.
But see, it's like I could see maybe Michael having the bright idea to, like, hide out in the field and pretend to be a scarecrow or something.
Yeah, that's a Michael move.
Yeah, but I think Jason, he just, like, powers through.
Jason, God love him, a little bit of a dim bulb, but he still gets it done.
Do you think the explanation for crop circles is just Jason got loose and he just wandered around the field?
He got lost.
Yeah. God, he walked in concentric circles.
And when he got really lost, that's when they got really ornate. People got even more confused. Yeah, but they're in India. Well, I guess Freddy must have teleported him to India. Yeah. I don't know.
Swing away. All right. So in the rave, the one girl gets raped, kind of. You know what's fucked up? There's one character. I think it's Catherine Isabel, Henry, who is simultaneously, during the rave, getting chased by Freddy in her dream. She's like asleep in a cornfield.
Oh my
And
God,
in dream world, she's getting chased by Freddy, and in real life, this dude's trying to rape her.
Yeah, wow.
I don't need that shit.
You are right. That was like, there's some hardcore bizarro shit in this one.
It's a little much. But when Jason gets lit on fire and is wandering through the cornfield, that's pretty baller.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, hey, do you happen to catch it? No, wait, we'll talk about that later. Never mind.
Okay.
Okay. My favorite moment in the entire movie, Henry.
All right.
This is my favorite line of dialogue. They're trying to figure out how to defeat Jason. Or Freddy. Because this is when Jason Ritter gets out of the hospital with his friend. They sort of escape the hospital weirdly by, like, mooning and farting.
He moons the guard, and then it turns out he's a very good pickpocket. Steals the keys and his identification.
And they're out of there.
They're done.
So they go back to tell everybody what's going on Elm Street, but then they realize that them escaping and reminding everybody who Freddy is helped Freddy get more strength.
And they're clearly, to me at least, because there was a Scooby-Doo reference earlier, and then they kind of turn into like that gang, right? I mean, they've got a van, and there's like...
Yeah, they really do.
A couple of girls, one
nerd. It's a carpeted van, and fake Jay smoking a bong in it.
Right.
And
Right.
I will say, like, Jason Ritter, while I love Jason Ritter, he doesn't quite have it yet in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was good.
He's totally fine. He's likable. But I feel like Jason Ritter has, like, a thing about him, like a charisma, like a...
I like him,
like
yeah.
a quality that I like.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
feel like he hasn't figured out what it is yet.
Well, that's probably true. I mean, it's rather early in his career. I was going to look him up real quick.
I think it might be a thing where he's trying at this point in his career to distance himself from John Ritter.
So he's just trying to be like very,
a little
very
more
different.
serious, maybe.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
and I feel like he has a lightness of touch now
And yeah, right.
that he got in the Ritter genes.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking at his film. I'm just curious.
I've only ever really seen him in TV. I like him on TV shows. He was great on Parenthood.
Yeah, I've never.
He was great on The Class, which I watched for one season.
Yeah, I've never. Yeah, I've seen him in a couple of indie movies. That's
like
all
what?
I know. Free Samples. I saw him in
What
that.
the fuck is that?
Jesse Eisenberg was in that.
Is that a movie?
Yeah. And there's another one I'm thinking of that's real fucking dark, but it's not coming up on his thing. It's like this real weird independent movie where he's like a suicidal guy. He's good. He's good.
Okay, and whatever.
More on Jason Ritter. Never.
So they're trying to figure out how to defeat Freddy and Laurie. By the way, Monica Keena's character's name is Laurie in this movie.
I know.
First of all, you can't name her Laurie.
Is it an homage? Is it?
But why would it be? This is Freddy versus Jason. It's not Halloween adjacent.
I know.
Adjacent. And
I know, but
Laurie Strode is the most famous final girl in movie history. You can't name her Laurie.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're right. It occurred to me instantly. I don't know how it couldn't. I mean, I think they were fully aware of that, I would think, right? I mean, with all the people involved, I don't know.
Were they? I'm not totally
Were they
sure.
were they that? I don't know. Yeah. Nobody in the movie associated with the movie was like, there's that other serial killer. I don't know. His nemesis was named. I know. Yeah, maybe the conversation never happened. They just went through common names, probably, of Friday the 13th women, who I'm sure at some point there was a sidekick friend or somebody named Laurie. Had to be.
I mean, maybe. Just name her anything. Her name doesn't matter.
Tina, Tracy. Those are recurring names.
Yeah, there's a lot of Tinas in slasher movies.
Yeah, a lot of Tracys. Yeah.
Sure. So she comes up with this bright idea, Henry, which comes to nothing. This
is the break-in.
She has this big realization. She goes, "Oh, guys, Freddy died by fire. Jason died by water. How can we use that? How can we use that?
So there is something you're afraid of. Remember that? Freddy recreates a waterfall in front of Jason. In the dream.
Oh, that's right. That was fucking stupid. And why is Jason afraid of water all of a sudden? Didn't Jason spend like 20 years of his life living underwater?
He's on the lake too. I mean, yeah, we were never given any indication in any single. And my memory for these things is
I feel like
great.
He's always fucking swimming. Remember that death in that one Friday the 13th movie where that girl is naked on that little raft and he jumps through the raft?
Jumps out of the thing, and he also, like, one of his go-to moves at the end of them is popping out of water, emerging from water. I don't know where we're getting this fear of this aquaphobia.
It's fucking
from.
stupid.
Yeah. I mean, Freddy in the fire, sure, but yeah.
I mean, even Freddy, he's not like afraid of fire.
No,
It's maybe not his favorite.
Right, and I also thought the line itself was strange when Freddy says to Jason, so there is something you're afraid of. Well, I don't. Did we ever establish that Jason was the type of guy that was supposed to have a fear or was fearless? It was just an odd. The whole thing was odd.
Don't you know that old catchphrase, Jason Voorhees, the man without fear?
Is that who that was about? Okay.
Yeah. So Laurie, she strodes
on into that chemical. They need to get Hypnosil.
She pulls. Yeah, they gotta get Hypnosil, and that's gonna fix people. And there's that scene with those creepy kids.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess.
Ridiculous beyond all belief, but then again, where are we? So
Laurie pulls one of Freddy's ears off and brings it out of the dream world.
This
and
guy
then
loses more body parts, I swear to God.
And then the ear turns into a maggot. Or a bunch of maggots, maybe. And how about that part where they're smoking weed and Freddy turns into like the caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah.
That was fucking stupid.
I don't know, man. That was one of those sequences where whenever they cut away in that pharmaceutical company or hospital, whatever the hell it was, hospital, I guess, and we know Jason's around, and then they would cut to the stoner and Freddy coming through. I just wanted to get back to Jason.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Jason.
Yeah, and he'd just be like, Snoogans.
Right. And it's just like, Nuge, come on, man. Let's just get back to the guy who we're here to see.
Well, that's the thing that I think a lot of people's problem with this movie was we spend a lot of time with these new characters and not enough time with Freddy and Jason. And on the one hand, I like some of the new characters, but sometimes we are just hanging out with Bobo Jason Mewes or fucking, the girl from Destiny's Child.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, one thing I didn't know about this movie, and it happens a little bit at the end, but I had told you previously that I had definitely seen the ending of this movie before, and I remember being hardcore rooting for Jason, which I still was. But what I had thought might happen was I thought that maybe towards the end, aside from like orchestrating a sort of impersonal confrontation, I thought maybe the girl and the Jason Ritter would be Monica and Jason Ritter would be going like kind of like a go get him, Jason, or like an attempt to help him in some way. I mean, I
think they are rooting for him.
Yeah,
but they don't get involved too much. I really think they should have just sailed away and just end the movie 10 minutes before the movie ends and just like have the last 10 minutes be Freddy versus Jason.
With nobody else.
Yeah,
present.
just have them fucking kicking the shit out of each other. I mean, they kind of do, and the fight is silly and funny, and Freddy's incompetent, and he gets his foot caught in a thing, and Jason chops him to shit, but then like Freddy shoots missiles at him. It's ridiculous, right. But it's kind of charming, and then Jason chops Freddy's head off, and then at the end, Freddy's head winks at the camera.
Jesus Christ. Which may or may not have been, Jason's dream, I was thinking. Because, of course, Jason actually does save her life, and it's, I doubt, less out of wanting to help her and more of just like, I'm not through with you yet, Freddy.
Really, it's out of movie convention, and in any movie like this, you can't have both of them be heels, so like you have to have one of them be the face.
Oh, I did like, by the way, I will say this.
That happens in Alien versus Predator, too. Remember, like, Predator's a fucking good guy in Alien versus Predator?
Right. Well, I thought there'd be a little bit more of that in here, but it's kind of just not really there. But I did like very much, I thought it was well done, actually, the flashback of Jason, like, as a kid.
Oh, it was okay, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was well placed.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool.
And those kids were
running
after him, calling him a freak, and they were right. You know what I did like, though? When we cut away, we actually see... Because the whole story of Jason is he got... killed. He got neglected by the counselors, and so we actually see the counselors neglecting him, and two of them are just fucking on the porch of this cabin.
Plain sight.
It's awesome.
Plain sight of all the kids. Yeah, great counselors there at Crystal Lake. We've been through that road before. We've analyzed their curriculum.
Yeah. You have anything more to say about this movie?
I think I'm good.
All right, what do you give it?
I'm giving this baby 3 stars.
God, I was going to give it a 2, and talking to you about it was very fun. So I'm going to give it a 3.
I like it. It delivered. It delivered. After
for the most part.
some real slogs. This was a nice time.
And it's charmingly 2003. There is Il Nino during the closing credits.
And it's short. It's short.
Could have been shorter. Chop 10 minutes off of this baby.
Now that ain't gonna happen in 2003 with one of these things. But yeah, I mean, I thought it went by pretty quick. I got a nice MVP and LVP lineup here.
I'd love to hear it.
Let's go with the MVP, Jason.
Ken Kirzinger?
The original, but they also got the.
He's not the original.
No. But I mean, the Kirzinger guy was in 8, I believe, in Manhattan.
Really? I thought he was new. No, Kane Hodder's in Manhattan.
Kane Hodder's in a lot of them, but this guy was in another one, and then there was like a brand new guy. Kirzinger, check it out, look it up. Kirzinger's an old. He was at least in one of them.
I don't care enough, but
okay. Well,
whatever. You like this Kirzinger fella?
Well, it's really just Jason, the character.
Sure.
Giving credit for.
Hey, he's in a couple episodes of Smallville. No, he's an extra in 8, but he didn't play Jason.
He didn't play Jason.
No.
Okay. All right. My mistake.
Mistake. No, he's brand new. He's brand new.
And I don't have Kirzinger in a superhero count, so.
Well, I got news for you. He played scientist and guard in 2 different episodes of Smallville.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, this took me forever.
Well, I'm sorry to break the news to you, buddy.
Thanks a lot. Okay, well, that makes it 10.
He's also in an episode of the Crow TV show.
I hate you.
Mm-hmm.
I did all this fucking work. Okay. It's 2 fucking pages. All right.
What the fuck? What do you...
LVP is Freddy.
MVP Jason, LVP Freddy. That's funny.
Absolutely. How about you?
I'm going to go MVP Monica Keena, LVP Kelly Rowland.
Perfectly fine. Were I not picking characters and picking actors, that would be it. All right, here, let's get through this.
I'm ready.
Okay, going to be a lot of characters in here. We're not going to remember who they played. There was a character named Mark Davis.
Oh, God. I'm already exhausted. Let me at least pull up the cast here so I can, search for... Okay, so Mark Davis. Mark Davis was Jason Ritter's friend there, who he broke out of the sanitarium.
Okay. With. Brendan Fletcher, the actor, was in The Crow, Stairway to Heaven.
That's the TV show.
Yeah, playing Jesse Hickok.
Yeah, that's shot in Canada.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Because he's also in Smallville.
There you go.
Played Parasite.
Hey, Parasite. That's like an actual Superman villain.
Yeah. And I have to ask you another question. Was Arrow shot in Canada?
I believe it is shot in Canada.
Well, that makes sense, too. He was in Arrow playing a character named Stanley. All right.
Stanley?
Oh, franchise crossover.
Oh my God, the Stan Lee cameo in Venom is the worst Stan Lee cameo in the history
I didn't see
of movies.
It yet.
Yeah.
He's in that?
Of course he is, yeah.
Number 2, Deputy Stubbs. I believe he was the deputy. That,
Lachlan Monroe. He's in tons of shit, dude. You'll remember him, of course, as the titular Dead Man on Campus in Dead Man on Campus.
Oh, my God.
Sure.
Well, he was also in Smallville playing Orlando Block.
Sure.
He was in Arrow playing Captain Stein.
Mm-hmm. And he's on Riverdale.
All right.
That's a comic book.
True. Catherine Isabel was in Smallville playing Sarah Conroy.
Sarah Connor?
I wish it would have been that interesting.
Go ahead.
But here's a Terminator name for you. Kyle Labine.
Sure, Tyler Labine's brother.
Who played Bill Freeberg in this, was in
that was fake Jason.
Okay. X-Men Evolution played David Haller.
Oh, that's Legion.
Okay.
Yeah, he was Legion.
Got it.
Man, he didn't get the call for that FX show, huh?
Yeah.
Sad for him. Yeah.
Tom Butler, who played Dr. Campbell, I believe he was the dad in this.
How about that scene where Freddy pretends to be her dad and makes out with her?
Oh, God, another one,
I know.
right? Jesus Christ. Well, he played an uncredited character, but he was nonetheless also in Smallville. Sheriff Williams, who I believe was the obnoxious, don't talk about around here, new guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right, because Lachlan Monroe had to be the new guy so that he can later get exposition.
And be killed.
Yeah.
Yes, ignominiously. That actor, Gary Clark, was in Arrow. General J.G. Walker.
Okay.
This is a good pull. This is the only one I liked here. He was Dum Dum Dugan in the TV show or TV movie, Dan, help me out, Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, the Hasselhoff one?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Dum
Right?
Dum Dugan's a good character.
Yeah. That's a Captain America buddy, right?
Well, it's a S.H.I.E.L.D. guy, yeah. He's a S.H.I.E.L.D. person.
Yeah. And then it gets a little weirder, this count. He was also in the 2009 incredible Zack Snyder opus Watchmen.
Oh, who'd he play?
Military general.
Sure. There's plenty of those.
Not the last time that movie's coming up in this count.
Oh.
Number 7, only 3 to go. Jesse Hutch, who played the great boyfriend in this movie, Trey.
Oh, sure, Trey. Who could forget him?
Who could forget him, but who could also forget that he played a character named Troy in Smallville?
Of course he did.
Trey and Troy. Actually, he was such a great actor and so distinct looking that they had him play 2 different parts in 2 different seasons. He was also Billy Durden in Smallville.
Oh, we got a last name in a second call.
It was Troy Turner. Yeah, but I just wanted to make the joke, Troy.
Got it.
He was also in Arrow, playing Officer Daly. Simultaneous sigh. Character in this movie called Shaq. I think he might have been kind of the fat guy at the cornfield party.
Oh, sure. He got killed.
People. Yeah. Christopher Gauthier. He was in Smallville playing Toyman.
Oh, that's a real Superman villain. Pretty good one, too.
And he was in Watchmen as well, playing Seymour. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I was just trying to remember this, not look it up.
He's the kid who works at, like, the New Republic or whatever, that magazine. Yeah.
Who's reading Rorschach's letter.
Yeah. He has, like, the last line of dialogue.
Right. Mm-hmm. And last but not least, because I go the extra mile, not even listed in the credits, but I found her, that she was in it. Evangeline.
Okay, now I'm bummed you got this. I wanted to bring this up. Okay. Evangeline Lilly got her start as an extra in a few movies that shot in Canada, because she's Canadian. And I do know the scene she's in. I found her.
I mean, I only found her in 2 things. One was obvious. The other one was small.
No. I mean, in this movie, Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah. I didn't.
The scene where Jason Ritter shows up at the high school, and he's like, talking to Monica Keena really heatedly in the hallway. Like a group of students, circles them.
Yeah, they're gawking at them.
Yeah, and if you look in the background, there's Evangeline Lilly just standing there.
That's so funny. Yeah, she's labeled, she's a locker student.
Yeah, that's what she is. She's at a locker, just watching the scene. No lines. She's not in focus for most of it, but you see her a couple times in focus in the background. And there she is, the Wasp.
The Wasp from Ant-Man. And she was an extra, literally credited as extra in Smallville.
Yeah, no, that's another one. I found her on that show, too. Because I became fascinated after Lost. The fact that this actress who I really liked, was just a fucking extra in some shit.
Yeah, weird, right?
Yeah. And I think in it was a similar thing in Smallville. It was like a crowd scene in a high school.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right,
All right.
That's it for Freddy vs. Jason.
That's it.
Listen, gang, we're going to have a bonus episode a little later in the week, maybe Nov first,
Probably, yeah.
something like that, and we'll be talking possibly Halloween. On Halloween, yeah, we'll see.
Did you ever see this one?
I have never seen this movie.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake with Jackie Earle Haley as Freddy Krueger. Do we know who directed this? I know Rooney Mara's in it.
Oh, is she really?
Yeah. She plays Nancy.
Wow.
And it's directed by a fellow named Samuel Bayer. I guess we'll talk about him when the time comes.
Yeah.
And I don't fucking know anything about this movie.
No, I don't really either. I remember when it came out, but like I didn't remember much.
I ignored it like the fucking plague, man.
I'm a little surprised that you did. Yeah.
Well, it just seemed to me. You know why? I mean, and we can talk more about this next week. But like when they remade Friday the 13th, I was like, I'll check that out because what is it? It's just Jason running around killing people ultimately.
Right.
But to me, like Nightmare on Elm Street was so much about Robert Englund's performance of the character.
Right.
That I just like couldn't get my head around that we were gonna remake that movie with someone else playing Freddy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, but we'll check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see it, and on that episode, we'll also do the Nightmare on Elm Street rankings.